Hi everyone, my name's Tom and I'm back to talk to you about F1 Fantasy. This is in the lead up to the Spanish Grand Prix, so we're going to have a look at my team and I'm going to give some of the reasoning behind who I think is potentially a good team, basically, who's the best constructor to pick. Pretty much between Ferrari and Red Bull, let's face it, but let's have a look and who the best five drivers are. So we're going to have a look at that. If you're not already subscribed, please do, because I produce these videos every week or every race week that there is to give you guys some ideas behind which team to pick, so you can make your own conclusions about it. And yeah, one other thing before we get started is I have made a league. Finally made a league. I'll put the code in the description below, so make sure you join the league. We'll see if we can beat everyone else. We'll have the highest scoring league going. That'll be great. I'll probably be at the bottom of it and I'll be humiliating and everyone will unsubscribe from me, but there we go. No, I'm only joking. Right, let's get into it. We're going to go through my team and see where we're going. So we're obviously going to Spain, and I think the Spanish track, from what we've seen so far this season, is going to really well suit the Ferraris. So first instinct is, we want Ferraris, but in terms of constructor, as you can see, the Red Bull is on a double streak. So I think people are piling on Red Bulls. Their value's been shooting up. In fact, has it actually gone up 0.4? It's gone up 0.4, which is huge since the last race. So yeah, I think Red Bull are probably the best pick because they're on that double streak, whereas the Ferraris, if we can see them here, they're on that qualifying streak. So straight away you're thinking, like the Red Bulls are looking strong. As long as they're reliable, then they're going to be strong and they're probably the best pick. But I think the Ferrari is going to be good. The Red Bulls are approximately 0.2 seconds ahead of the Ferraris at the moment, and the Ferraris are going to be bringing quite a large upgrade package, from what I understand, to Spain. So I think the Ferraris will definitely close that gap. Can they actually then overtake? Can they leapfrog the Red Bulls? I don't know. I'm sure the Red Bulls will be bringing their own little upgrades and things and weight reductions and that sort of thing. But in general, I think the Ferraris will be quite strong. So straight away, I'm thinking we might want the Ferrari, but because they're on that double streak, it's just way too tempting to bring in the Red Bulls. So, and it's one of the reasons why I brought in the Red Bulls from Miami, because going forward they'll be good for the next race. And if you're thinking in that way, then obviously the Ferraris would be good, because the Ferraris are potentially going to be on a race streak for Monaco, which I think is also going to be another very strong track for Ferrari. So there is a strong argument to have Ferrari, but we'll see how they perform in practice. Let's just get into what I think is the best team at the moment, which for me right now is the Red Bull until we see any evidence otherwise. In terms of drivers, Leclerc obviously not going anywhere. He's just insane. He's really good. He's potentially going to win the title. Who knows this season? We'll see how that goes. Still a long way to go. But Leclerc not going anywhere. There is a bit of a dilemma. Do we turbo drive Leclerc or do we turbo drive Perez? And I still think I'm going to stick with the turbo driver on Leclerc, unless for whatever reason the Red Bulls look particularly strong, which I don't anticipate them to, but you never know. If the Red Bulls look extremely strong, then maybe Perez could be a shout of that extra 10 points potential bonus for finishing the top 10. But I think Leclerc is still probably more likely to beat his teammate and get those extra little points, and higher chance of finishing first or second than what Perez can provide, because clearly Verstappen is just that step ahead of Perez, and I think turbo drive wise Leclerc is probably still a good option, but there's some debate to be had there. So yeah, Leclerc and Perez almost certainly almost certainly they're certainly not going anywhere on my team. Perez is on that streak, as I've just said. He's not going anywhere. Now the slot in between them, the other sort of premium slot, I guess you could call it, is at the moment Norris, because that's who I had. I brought him in ahead of Miami because he's doing really well. I bring him in, bam, DNF. So yeah, probably don't listen to me after all. But no, honestly, I think Norris is going to be good in Barcelona. Let's have a quick flick over to the Barcelona testing, because we've already got some evidence to support who might be strong in Barcelona already, because we had the test in there back in March or whenever the hell it was. Seems like so long ago already. Lando came top in day one. Day two, Ricciardo was on the track for McLaren, came P3, and I'm not really sure exactly what happened in day three. They didn't do so well, but in general, the McLaren's as a sort of a weekend, or it wasn't really a weekend, was it? I think it was a Wednesday to Friday job, but whatever. As a 3-day sort of event, the McLarens did really well in Barcelona, and I anticipate them to do well in Barcelona again. And I've actually got a quote here. I like to back up my statements with quotes from Ricciardo after Miami. He's quoted as saying Barcelona should suit us a bit more, so I'm looking forward to that. So straight away, the drivers are already thinking in their heads that the track's going to suit them more. The McLaren doesn't seem to do too well in the straights, which is complete contrast to last year where they were really good in the straights, but this year not so much. So yeah, I anticipate the McLarens to be good. So Norris is definitely a high potential for doing well in Spain. So I'm tempted just to leave him in there. However, he is in that price point where if I can't really get him and Sainz in the team together, I do think Sainz is going to be a good shout. It's his home Grand Prix, Spain. He's Spanish. Yeah, this is why you subscribe to me, so I point out obvious things like that. Honestly, I think Sainz is going to be good. Like I've always said, Ferrari are going to be good. So I'm tempted to. I'm very split between Norris and Sainz in this slot at the moment, but Sainz is in there for now. Alonso, also his home Grand Prix, Spain, Spanish. Yeah, stay subscribed for more. No, honestly, Alonso, he's been like a drain on my fantasy points this year. He's given so much potential, and it's so frustrating that he's just failed to deliver. And I think it's time probably to knock him on the head and get him out of the team. However, bringing him out of the team ahead of his home race, when Alpine do definitely have that potential, he's gonna kick me, isn't he, when I remove him from the team? But I do think he probably needs to go, and in his place, I will probably be bringing in Mr. Bottas. So Alfa Romeo are going to be bringing in some upgrades, from what I understand, targeted at improving their speed through the high speed corners, and there are quite a few high speed corners in Spain. So I think the Alfa Romeo is again going to be a good option. Bottas also, you can see down here, he's got his race streak. He's on a 3 race streak. So if he finishes in the top 10 in Spain, he'll then be on that race streak for Monaco, and he's likely to qualify in the top 10 in Monaco, I'd imagine. And therefore, overtaking is really, really difficult in Monaco. So he's probably going to finish in the top 10, barring any accidents and things. So bringing in back Bottas for Spain sets you up nicely for one less substitution going into Monaco, because you're probably going to want Bottas for Monaco if he's on that race streak. In fact, you definitely will, because Bottas is just screaming value this season. So I think Bottas is a really good shout to get in the team. And the other pick, who I made an entire video on last week, who I haven't decided fully on yet, but we're going to go stick Alex Albon. So he's already gone up 0.3 million because he's really, really popular, and I think he's proven really well. I'm not going to go into detail right now about what I think about Albon, because I did an entire video on it. So again, go back and have a look at that if you want to hear my thoughts completely on Alex Albon. I do think he's a good pick for Spain. I think he can do well in Spain. It does concern me going into Monaco. It might be a sub out. I think Magnussen's probably better suited for Monaco, so you might have to then switch back to Magnussen before Monaco. Because like I said already, the qualifying in Monaco is crucial, and I think Magnussen stands a lot better chance of getting in that top 10 or around that top 10 and then fighting for points, as opposed to Albon, who I don't see the Williams doing particularly well around Monaco. So looking further afield, I think Albon might not necessarily be a great pick for the next 2 races. So you might be booking in like that substitution to bring back Magnussen if that's the change that you're doing. But I do think Albon could provide us some decent value in Spain. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. So this is the team 1 that I've looked at. This is what I'm thinking of. Obviously, like I said, Norris could, Sainz could become Norris, but we'll see about that. And also something to bear in mind about Norris, another bonus for him. If you look, he's also almost on a quali streak. So picking Norris, as long as he qualifies in the top 10 in Spain, he'll then be on a quali streak for Monaco. So another reason, it's another substitute you don't have to worry about. He'll be on the streak in Monaco. He did well. I think he got podium last year, if I remember correctly, in Monaco. So I think Norris is definitely like high up on my list of priorities for Spain. He's already in my team, so I could just leave him in there. But I want to see what happens in practice. Are the McLarens really strong? If the Ferraris are leaps and bounds ahead of everyone, then Sainz is probably the better pick. But again, debatable. But that's what I'm thinking at the moment. And one other thing I will say on Norris, if we flip it over to the spreadsheet, Norris's consistency. This is actually really important as to whether I might actually pick Norris. His consistency from practice into qualifying is second to none, basically, apart from the Latifi, to be fair, because the Latifi's basically always 19th or 20th, and then he qualifies 19th or 20th, so that's besides the point. Norris, let's have a look. What happened in Bahrain with Norris? If you don't know already, I've got these hypothetical qualifying positions based on the performance in practice sessions. So I've averaged out the positions in practice sessions, I've then ranked them, and then put them into this hypothetical quali, basically. So in Bahrain, Norris was predicted in my model, or whatever you want to call it, as coming 14th, and he qualified in 13th. Really accurate, I would say. We look at Saudi Arabia, predicted in 11th. He does come in 11th. We look at Australia, predicted in 5th. He comes in 4th. And we go to Miami, he's predicted 8th, and he comes in 8th. I haven't included Imola on this because it was a sprint format. I'm not going to worry about that. We're looking at the 3 practice session races that we've had so far, which is what Spain will be. So across the board, he's super accurate. You can see the average delta from the hypothetical. If we got down here, there is number 39. Norris, on average, he's within a position, or he's half a position away. So every single time, you know, if we say he's going to be 5th, he is going to be 4th, 5th or 6th. So it's very accurate. So I'm going to be paying close attention to how Norris performs in practice as to whether I'm going to pick him. If he's averaging like 4th, then get him in there, because he's probably going to qualify around that position. So definitely seems like a good choice. And the same for Ricciardo. It's not just Lando. I think it's the McLaren car itself. You can see Ricciardo's also really close to, the delta's really small, which means it's very accurate. Let's have a quick look at how Ricciardo did. I haven't actually looked at this, but we'll check it out. So we've got Bahrain. There you go, 18th. He comes in 18th. We go to Saudi Arabia. He was predicted 14th, comes in 12th. Pretty close. We go to Australia, predicted 7th, comes in 7th. And we go to Miami. Where was he in Miami? 13th, and he comes in 14th. So again, every single time, the McLaren boys are very, very accurate. So I think we're starting to see that going into Spain. I think I'm going to be using this model pretty closely, and hoping that, you know, that it doesn't backfire. And if he's predicted 4th, he comes in 15th, and I'll just be like, no. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to be using that. So that's the team there. Like I say, Sainz could be Norris. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to give you a couple of other builds before I disappear off the face of the earth for a few days. Another build I want to say, because I think Ferrari are still potentially a good option. Like I said, I anticipate they're going to be good around this track. They are on a quali streak, obviously not on the double streak, which is why Red Bull is so popular at the moment. But I do think Ferrari will be quick around this track, and I want to have a quick look at the builds for what we can do there. So Bottas and Albon are kind of fine, and then Norris, if you didn't want Norris in there, you could actually squeeze up to Russell, and you can have a build like this, because I think Mercedes themselves, are potentially going to be quite good around Spain. They were decent in the testing. I think Hamilton top day 3. If we go back to that quickly, you can see the P4, P5 day 1, P4 day 2, P1, P2 in day 3. So the Mercedes, despite all their issues, were really nailing it in Barcelona. Back in testing, and they're bringing in updates. We know, they're obsessed with bringing updates. They're desperate to sort out this porpoising issue. I believe they're bringing in a new floor for their car, which is supposed to help the porpoising, and I don't think porpoising is even going to be that much of a bigger deal with only the one really big straight in Spain. And there is that second straight down the back straight, which is not such a great straight, so I don't think there'll be too much porpoising down there. And then the corner that comes out of that back straight is kind of, they've changed it recently, so it's not quite a stop and a hard left sort of thing. It's more of a gradual left, so I think the porpoising issue might be slightly less affecting them going around that corner. So I think in general Mercedes are going to be very well suited potentially to this track. Again, it's probably going to be hot in Spain. Their tyre warm-up has been an issue, and that's probably not going to be an issue for qualifying. So I think if you back in the Ferraris and you also want to include Russell, I think this is a fine build. That's what I think of that. And then there's one other build I was looking at, which included Norris. So if we go back to Carlos Sainz, sorry, bear with me 2 seconds, and then we can get rid of Bottas, and then we can bring back in Lando Norris. And with Albon, Albon if you've got the money, you can switch Albon and actually become Bottas. I'm 0.4 million short of that. So this team, if the Ferraris are looking good and you want to back them, this team could also do really well. You still get Perez on his streak. Norris, like I said, is potentially a very good pick. Bottas is just, he's like a season keeper probably, and just in looking how things are going. So this is potentially a really good team as well. But we got to see how things are going in practice. I do think, like I said, I think the Mercedes could be a little dark horse going into this, and Russell, he's not on any streaks or anything, but I think he could be a good pick. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks very much for watching. I'll be back for my final thoughts video probably Friday evening, I'd imagine, after the practice sessions, so we can get a bit more accurate picture, see how we're doing, see how Norris is performing, because Norris is my pick, and therefore he's my pick for potentially doing well and going slightly under the radar, because he's just DNF'd. Everyone's thinking, oh, we don't want Norris, he DNF'd, but actually I think he could be a good pick. So let me know what you think. Make sure you join my league. Make sure you subscribe if you're actually still watching this video at this point. Thank you, because you've done probably more than most by getting through this far, listen to me talking all this time. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in a few days' time for my final thoughts, and let's get the Spanish Grand Prix underway. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you later. Bye-bye.